How are your sales stacking up against the competition? That's a question we frequently get. Why are my sales down, or are my sales up compared to everybody else? My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing a Deloitte survey that was just released, and it talks about some trends, really interesting trends. So if you're interested on those trends and how you stack up, this is the podcast for you. So I will put a link to this survey at the top of the podcast if you want to go through. It's about 29 pages long. I'm going to breeze through certain parts and go into more detail and give some analysis in certain key areas. So special thanks for Deloitte in putting this out. So this entire survey talks about just buyer shopping trends, behaviors, COVID impact, Amazon constraints, and a lot of good information. So they talk about the Thanksgiving period. It's supposed to be this unofficial kickoff to the buying shopping spree for buying online for Christmas. And that's completely accurate in my opinion. One of the questions that I've been grappling with is, did Prime Day, which was middle of October this year, did it have a way to kick off the buying season early? And I think it did, actually. It wasn't like the same kickoff that a Black Friday event did, but it was still very strong on getting sales going. So if Black Friday increases sales 200 to 300% on Amazon as a platform, I think Prime Day gave it like a 20% nudge, right? So respectful, it helped. Not comparable, but still helpful. And so this survey kind of goes into detail on some of that, how Thanksgiving is typical of getting that Black Friday. Even Amazon calls it the Turkey 5 event, right? So they're counting Thanksgiving Day as day 1 and Cyber Monday is day 5, and of course you have Black Friday the day after Thanksgiving is day 2. So that 5-day stretch, which we just exited, as I shoot this podcast, it's Tuesday evening. And Cyber Monday was yesterday. So they talk a little bit about adjusting for the health and safety constraints and, what that affects and how shoppers are interacting with that. So some of the sections that goes through COVID anxieties, I'm going to breeze through most of that. I think most of that's common sense. October promotional impacts, where we got Prime Day, channel preferences on 3rd. This is probably where it starts to get really interesting, especially as people shop online a lot more this year. And then it goes into how retailers can win and shopping preferences. So let's go through this. So it says Thanksgiving shopping traditions are put on hold as consumers. So on the negative side, we're seeing health and safety concerns leading to a slightly lower participation, average spend in the holiday period. That kind of makes sense. However, later in the survey, it's going to talk about how online is extremely proportionally up. So as an Amazon seller, you're benefiting despite the overall downtrend. Retailers have adjusted their promotional cadence to start earlier this year. However, I'm on record saying don't run promotions. Your supply chain is going to break and you're going to be out of stock. Now, of course, there's exceptions to everything. If you've got lots of stock, run promotions. But I am strongly believing that this week you're going to notice that, oh man, I can't ship enough inventory into FBA. And it's going to stock out. So keep that in mind. If you can ship direct to consumer at a profit, make sure that's enabled right now. Consumers are looking for a great deal and strong safety precautions driving purchases online. So that's where we're benefiting. I do note, however, that in the last 7 days, we did see safety items took a hit, right? So like face masks, for example, sales are down on face masks in the last 7 days. But sale items, promotional items, gift items, staple household items, way up, right? Like anything that was on sale for Turkey 5 did really well. So I'm going to breeze through some of this anxiety stuff. It talks about consumer health concerns for COVID-19, right? So I think that we're going to see a lot of these concerns go away here in a couple months, especially as the vaccine potentially rolls out. And if nothing else, the politics behind people not wanting to shut down the whole economy, I think it's going to, I think that tax has been worn for so long that we're going to just see massive upheaval on that question. So That doesn't necessarily mean that, mom and pop taking care of their family aren't going to, safety precaution, keep kids at home, that kind of thing. I think that's still going to happen. But I think with that in mind, 74% of people plan to shop online. So this was a prediction on their part for the Thanksgiving weekend. Definitely came to fruition, in my opinion. 65% plan to travel less or not at all this year. That's a big thing. So if you sell a travel item, your sales are probably suffering. It's interesting running an agency where like the product makeup of my clients shifts based on trends, right? So like, man, there was a big push for CBD products, or and then all of a sudden grocery lit up, right? So like grocery right now is just on fire on Amazon in a good way, right? Like it's the fastest growing category on Amazon. And then of course we had the big push in the summer for safety items, face masks, you name it. And so we've seen the trends, and when COVID hit, beauty items took a major hit. So like most of our beauty clients, quite frankly, disappeared. Not as many of them trying to position as well right now. So it's interesting to see that, but definitely a lot of anxiety, unsurety going around as it relates to this. So $401 average spend during the Thanksgiving period. Supposedly this is down 3% year over year. So a little hit, not as much as I would have expected, to be honest, based on that. Holiday shopping participation during the Thanksgiving period is going to drop from 79% down to 74%. And again, later on, it's going to talk about how it's way up online. Thanksgiving shoppers concerned about making upcoming payments is at 28%, and 44% Thanksgiving shoppers delaying large purchases they otherwise would have. So clients or sellers who are selling big ticket items right now are typically a little softer right now. So small ticket gift items like the wine glasses I sell under the brand name Momster, flying off the shelves. And I've pretty much stocked out on a lot of my top sellers already, especially with those stock limitation issues that are causing problems. I actually just talked to a reporter today from NBC and had given them some quotes. Don't know if they're going to run my quotes or not. We'll see. But I gave them very accurate depiction on how my sales are hurt this year due to Amazon limiting me to 3 months supply shipping in on my glasses. And I sell a seasonal item that spikes 400% in month of December. So yeah, Amazon screwed me personally, and I know it's screwed a lot of our clients and Amazon sellers out there. So I'm speaking from personal understanding on how that impacts. Economic uncertainty caused 1/4 of holiday shoppers to reduce their spending plans from September. So I think that, I didn't see it in this survey talking about like how many people are behind on their mortgage, but we're going to start to see a lot of landlords kick people out. And while that's been delayed by the government, I think push is going to come to shove here in the next quarter. And so a lot of people who've been laid off, even though the economy, in my opinion, is quite strong, we've seen the stock market hit record numbers well above 30,000 for the first time ever. And so I have a very positive outlook, but there are still some real numbers to consider. And you can see a clear drop-off on sentiment for buying is present. So October promotional impacts. So retailers offered new promotions in October as a way to jumpstart holiday sales. I think the trending on timing on that was probably a good move on Amazon's part, especially as they saw the dust settle a little bit and sales kind of dry up post-August. August was kind of the post-COVID buyer remorse, or probably not the right way to phrase it. It's probably more of like the cadence returned to normal, right? So we saw gangbuster sales between May and early part of August, and it kind of tapered off following that. So Amazon's timing of putting Prime Day in the middle of October made perfect sense to me. So 23% of holiday shoppers shopped on Prime Day. That's a big percentage. $187 average spend day on Prime Day, and average spend on Prime Day lower than customers indicated in September at $344, as many retailers offered competing promotions. So what I believe they're saying there is that they surveyed people like, what do you intend to spend? And people said $344, But what actually happened is that Walmart and Target became really big winners. And it doesn't say that specifically here, but that's my understanding from what actually happened, right? So like big retailers went to bat and said, hey, come check out our Prime Day sales, right? Amazon artificially has created a really amazing shopping day, fake holiday, if you will. 25% of holiday shoppers' deals are better on Prime Day than during the Thanksgiving week. So I actually would have no opinion on this. It's really, when you look at so many different data sets, it actually become like data paralysis occurs, right? So like I have seen all kinds of deals, right? I think the deals are weaker this year over last year, without a doubt in my mind, like just overall and regardless of time frame. And that's because when you're running out of stock, you don't run deals, and the supply chain is in a complete shambles right now. People don't really understand just how bad the supply chain still is, but the sellers get it. They understand when they're delayed getting access to their goods, the shipping delays, and all that good stuff. 76% plan to spend more or the same during the Thanksgiving period. 24% will spend less. 56% planned to purchase earlier in the holiday season to avoid stockouts. Now that's an interesting call out. Like I have been predicting mass stockouts for a very long time. And it's interesting to see the consumers shopping earlier this year because of that. Prime Day promotions drove a single week in spike in sales, similar to holidays like Labor Day and Independence Day. So you can see, the spike that was there present. So 21% Prime Day sales events, percent of total monthly spend. And you can compare that to other parts of the chart that talks about Labor Day and Independence Day as they, interface with other weeks that surround them. So basically a percentage of your spend during that week goes up as compared to other weeks in the month. So it's kind of interesting to see that. As we scroll to the next slide, October promotional events do not appear to have pulled forward significant holiday spending. So I thought it kind of had like a 20% lift. That's like my personal take. Their data indicates nope, did not see it at all. So that's what they're indicating based on their survey. From the onset of the pandemic, recovery in retail has not been equally distributed across all subsectors. Home improvement and mass have been the winner. I think I butchered that. Home improvement and mass have been the winners. I'm not sure what they're saying there, to be honest. Year-over-year changes in consumer spending across subsectors. So home improvement is up 17%. Mass merchants, I'm not sure how they're defining mass merchants. Kind of interesting to see that. 16% is up. Electronics up 10. Grocery up 7. Club up 4. And then all of these other areas are down. Sporting goods, 7%. Now, what's interesting about the sporting goods one, so like we do have several sporting goods clients, and items where you're doing sports by yourself are significantly up. Items where you're doing team sports are significantly down. So the overall sector, 7% down. Toys and games down 24%. That actually is probably the most surprising stat on here. I think that one will recover this month. Maybe people are just using old toys this year, not sure. Beauty and personal care down 27%. I would have expected that one to be down even more, to be honest. Footwear and apparel down 37%. That is significant. A lot of clothing retailers in trouble this year. Off-price, don't know what they mean by that, or department down 41% and 44%, respectively. Mass merchants and home improvement are poised to take holiday share. Traditional gift-giving subsectors like electronics and sporting goods are also beginning to surge right now. So that's their indication on a lot of their data. The pandemic drove a dramatic shift in spending online as COVID-19 cases surges again, and we expect the trend to continue for the holiday period. So I had stuck my head out there. So back in Amazon released details on what COVID did for their sales, and it was up like 40%, give or take a couple percentage points. And I had predicted that this holiday season was going to be up 100% on Amazon.com. So I'm curious to see if that will happen. The trend does not appear to be up 100% quite yet, but we'll see what the actual data sets show. But it's up very, very much overall. That is a surety thing. It's just simply logical, right? So if we take like as I like to call it, the taxi driver approach, right? So like forget the data for a moment. You're a taxi driver. what do you see people talk about? What do you see in the trends just from intermingling with society? And the taxi driver logical prediction here is, of course, sales are going to be up online this year, right? Like it's just without a doubt. So if you look at the share of retail spend by channel, which is on the screen here, online versus in-store, and you're going to notice that the trend for online is up significantly this year. And that is very beneficial for Amazon sellers. And of course, the articulation on that is consumers are avoiding crowds, pulling back from in-store shopping. That's logical. And quite frankly, regardless of the politics and regardless of the health constraints, the anxiety and the uncertainty is going to cause this societal shift that we've experienced to last a couple of years potentially, and at least well into 2021, in my opinion. So this trend basically accelerated e-commerce a decade into growth in a period of 8 weeks. So with that in mind, as you look at the Thanksgiving period shopping participation by channel, in 2020, 95% plan to shop online, up from 94% last year. But the in-store, this is where the significant stat is, the in-store shopping rate went down from 87% last year down to 77% this year. So that is a significant cut. And although those stats, as you read them, what that translates to is that, yeah, a lot of people were planning on shopping pretty much the same people are shopping online this year, but the people that are shopping online are going to be buying a heck of a lot more stuff and not shopping as much in person. So that kind of feel-good holiday shopping thing ain't happening as much this year, and it's going to just be online. So, by the way, I've ordered some stuff on Amazon this week, and I put a gift note in there, not sending out the gift notes. So, if you're sending a gift purchase to your loved ones, I recommend you send them a text and say, "Hey, this is on the way. By the way, it's coming from me." That way, you get credit for sending out your Christmas gift this year. In terms of share of shopping budget, in-store Black Friday spend expected to fall, while Cyber Monday likely to remain the biggest sales day. It's interesting. I always can have conversations with clients about like what day of the year I think is going to be the biggest, and no matter what, it's always Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is the biggest sales day of the year, without a doubt. Prime Day is up, but Prime Day does not compare to Cyber Monday. I don't know what it is, but it's been a phenomenon for well over a decade now. That after people have done their Black Friday in-person shopping on Monday, they go back to work and they're shopping between noon and 8 p.m. and they're like just mass buying, right? Like you're in the mood. You're in the mood to buy. That's what's happening. So Thanksgiving period shopping budget share by day and channel. So in-store, 38% and 62% online. You can see 10% of that went on Thanksgiving Day, 17% went on Black Friday, and 24% of that went on Cyber Monday. So just from this survey alone, you can extrapolate those numbers to see that Cyber Monday should be about a quarter bigger than your Black Friday if you look at that data and see how you did. So if your Black Friday, so let's assume you didn't run any promotions or you ran promotions consistently throughout Black Friday and Cyber Monday. If your sales were bigger on Black Friday, you are in the minority. If your sales were bigger on Cyber Monday, you are in the majority. Whereas, it's interesting to see that, whereas Sunday is typically the strongest sales day on Amazon during the week, Monday a close second, and then Saturday is the weakest. With holiday shopping, that trend might be bucked a little bit because Saturday is definitely getting a little bit of love. According to this chart, it's saying Saturday is more important than Sunday, which is unusual for online shopping on Amazon from my experience. Black Friday shopping events likely to see channel switch for the first time, more shoppers going online than to stores. This is a really interesting data point where basically last year in 2019, Black Friday in store was at 61% and then online was at 51%, and it's flip-flop this year in 2020. In 2020, Black Friday online shopping is at 58% and in-store down to 41%. So that's a really big shift between that data. And that, honestly, my prediction, next year is going to be the same, regardless of COVID. I think this shift is gonna set trends for years to come. So it's never been a better time to be an Amazon seller, in my opinion. It's also never been harder to be an Amazon seller. And you guys hear me drone on and on about all the challenges that we face as Amazon sellers. And I always like to make fun of how it's not passive income to sell on Amazon. But I do have a cheery disposition. I do think selling on Amazon is a very good place to be right now. Those that plan to shop Black Friday in store are skipping early morning doorbusters in favor of later start times. So that actually might be a favorable societal thing for us. No more tents waiting outside the Best Buys of the world. And that shopping is definitely, I always thought it was crazy. I never participated in it personally. Doorbusters things were never my thing. I've always been a homebody. I've always shopped online, and I'm a millennial at the older end of the millennial spectrum. But I've never understood that in-person stuff. Maybe I'm too introverted and I just prefer to do my own thing, stay at home, work on my clients' accounts behind the scenes and not go out. I don't go to conferences. I don't know what it is, but not my thing. So top reason for shopping in store on Black Friday, take advantage of the sales, is obviously at 73% most common, but 46% of people enjoy shopping with their friends and family. It's part of a Black Friday ritual. So that trend probably was bucked this year big time. And then there's just kind of a lot of overall excitement during that time period. All right, so last section here is how retailers can win. Consumers who haven't started shopping can be lured into safety precautions, potentially leading to higher spend. So it says 1/3 of holiday shoppers have not started their gift-giving shopping, and you could boost spend to win them, spend more on ads, try and reach those consumers and convince them, hey, go buy online. It's not too late. You'll probably use that messaging for the next 3 or 4 weeks. 32% of Thanksgiving shoppers are undecided on which retailer to visit for specific category purchases during the period. And 42% of Thanksgiving shoppers get information about shopping deals via emails, giving retailers an opportunity to highlight safety precautions as well as promos. So with Amazon, this is probably not as actionable because you can't really communicate with your customers directly, unfortunately. But if you do have an email list, if you don't, go build one. Go sign up for MailChimp, get something going. And as you collect email addresses from your consumers, however that happens, hopefully you got a website. If you don't have a website, you need to get one. I recommend Shopify. So I own my ShopifyGuy.site. Check us out. We build Shopify sites for $2,000. And just get your email list going. So that way you can talk to your consumers in one way or another. Great deals and safety precautions win for the Thanksgiving period and Black Friday. Cyber Monday, shoppers also want convenient delivery and return policies. We noticed that Amazon increased its return policy this year well into January. And that is problematic for sellers because consumers tend to take advantage of sellers. And Amazon is a buyer's platform, right? So Amazon doesn't really care about its sellers in any shape or form. They shoot first, kill, ask questions later. They'll take down your listing. They will side with the customer even when the customer is wrong, regardless. It's just a huge pain in the butt. So that is the biggest challenge. But that's also some objections you can sell into sometimes and try and work around that. In any case, I still am against a lot of the promotional aspects for all the supply chain messaging that I've been talking about. But if you got stock, go ahead and do it. Nearly 1/3 of holiday consumers plan to spend fewer days shopping this year, mostly due to COVID. That is surprising to me. I actually thought people would have shopped more often or bought bigger purchases. But we are seeing potential consumers buying less and less frequently. So those stats are actually kind of shocking to me. I was kind of surprised by that. So 29% fewer or less days shopping than last year. So very interesting. 58% doing the same. 13% are spending more time. I thought the more shopping would have been. And maybe they're factoring in person into that stat. Maybe that's why. But I thought that the online shopping would have increased in that retrospect. COVID-19 changing social traditions, but share of spend for gift items such as clothing, electronics, and toys remains steady. So there is some good news at the end of the tunnel for that. Toys just go crazy during the month of December. And a lot of people who first start selling on Amazon, they'll do retail arbitrage, and toys are the best category to do retail arbitrage in. A lot of people might have strong opinions on other categories, but that's been my experience. So I've done it personally over the years, and you go. I remember buying some Tony Hawk skateboard toy, and I would sell it on Amazon for 3x. It was amazing. Loved it. Retail arbitrage is probably dead today. Still doable, but you're not going to probably make more than $35,000 a year, which is basically a starting wage for somebody who's hustling. So I don't think it's worth your time or worth your while, but a lot of people do it still. I'm a big proponent of private label selling on Amazon. So own your own brand, trademark your own brand, invest into your own brand. That's so that you can control your own future, and I think that's why that's important. So as we look at these share of shopping buyer in each category, so clothing and accessories at 66% among all Thanksgiving period shopping, toys and hobbies at 52%, 49% for electronics, food and beverage at 44%, health and beauty at 32%, home and kitchen at 31%. I'm actually surprised by that one. I thought it would be bigger, but it's actually been lower this year, and travel and dining at 14%. Given desire for safety and deals, mass merchants and online retailers dominate as top venues. I still don't know what they mean by mass merchants. maybe they're talking about like the Walmarts and the Best Buys. Maybe that's what they're saying. Internet and online retailers at 54%, traditional department stores 30%, and then the rest goes down from there. Dollar stores down at 19% though. So when people are choosing where to shop, they are prioritizing getting a great deal at 83%, 75% COVID-19 precautions. Kind of surprised by that one. And I don't know if they're articulating. So sometimes when you look at survey data, like how you ask the question dictates what the survey data is going to say. So really hard to read into that stat. Don't know if that means, I'm going to go shop online, or what that means, whether I'm going to go in person for those venues, depending on the safety precautions. Not sure. Although half of shoppers find delivery options important, more plan to use standard delivery. So standard delivery at 65%, contactless delivery at 46%, same day or next day delivery at 43%, same day or next day delivery through a delivery service at 15%, and batching or combining orders of shipping at 12%. So variety of delivery options, a little bit more important this year at 52% versus last year at 44%. In my opinion, consumers are way more patient this year. They just want to get the item. They don't necessarily care about the speed of it. And I think that's just because of supply chain woes, in my opinion. So that is the Deloitte survey. Thanks for listening into the My Amazon Guy podcast. Feel free to comment what your thoughts are on some of the survey data. What do you think is correct? What are you seeing that's your experience that you might find is different? Got a question about Amazon that has nothing to do with my podcast? Leave a comment on my video on YouTube, and I will absolutely answer it. I read every single one of those comments, or send us an email to podcast@myamazonguy.com. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget, subscribe to the My Amazon Guy podcast, where we talk about growing your sales every single podcast.